In this video, the Bitcoin golden cross is getting closer and closer, and also the Atlanta Fed estimated that the data so far in the second quarter suggests a drop of US GDP of 42%. This is worse than the Great Depression. And if you think that that sounds interesting, then I think that you should definitely watch this video. Hello guys and welcome to the moon. My name is Carl and I'm here to bring you this Bitcoin video. And look at this. It would seem that Bitcoin is currently testing this very important resistance. As you can see right here, Bitcoin has tested this once back there and also once right there and all the way back there. So we know that this is a very significant resistance because it actually started all the way back here in 2017. Now, if we were to break through here, then just like I've said before, that would be, of course, a very bullish turn of events for Bitcoin. But let's take a look at also the support, because if we were to get rejected here, which is, of course, possible, then it is possible that Bitcoin might be heading down for another leg down like this. I would say that regardless what happens in the future, I think that the 200 weekly moving average and this yellow support line here that ranges since back in 2017 is going to hold support no matter what. I think there's just too much support in this area here. As you can see, the 200 weekly has been holding as support forever actually in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never really broken below it more than just a wick like we saw back here. So basically we can just draw a line here and we can know with a pretty high degree of certainty that Bitcoin is just never going to go below this level. And this means that Bitcoin, it's a very low risk of Bitcoin going back below $6,200. That is my opinion. We can test 6.2K, but I don't think it's very likely at all that Bitcoin will go below it. All right, but let's go to the daily time frame now, because this was the weekly time frame. Because look at this, we are now very close to this golden cross where the 50 or the green moving average moves above the 200 moving average, which is this red moving average. We can also see how the red and orange line are converging. So it's the 200 and the 100. And basically we are seeing a very bullish momentum here in the moving averages as we see the 50 move above both of these two levels, and we're also seeing the 20 daily showing us very healthy support here. Bitcoin bounced off of it right there, and I think that as long as we're above the 20 daily, Bitcoin will remain in this bull trend that we've seen here. We've seen Bitcoin test this level many times here. And the opposite happens in a downtrend, as you can see here. Bitcoin tested it as resistance right there, got rejected, and you see exactly what happened after that. So we know that Bitcoin is in a bull trend, and Bitcoin is showing us that the momentum is going to the upside. If Bitcoin gets a daily close below the 20 daily, then I would start to get a little bit more cautious here, and I would probably look towards a potential correction, at least down to backtest the 200 daily and the 100 daily here at 8,000. But up until then, I'm going to remain bullish as I've been here for the past few weeks, because the momentum shows us the trend, and remember that the trend is your friend. And yesterday I talked about Jerome Powell and the fact that he was talking to 60 Minutes about how they are creating currency out of nothing. And this is something that I believe is true. People who call Bitcoin a scam probably have no idea how US dollars are created. And you guys enjoyed this tweet because it got 1.4 thousand likes. That's a huge amount of engagement. Thank you so much, guys. And I think this is true. People calling Bitcoin a scam, they have no idea that the biggest scam maybe in human history is the monetary system we're living in. I mean, it is the biggest scam. How could something be possibly bigger? I mean, people said that BitConnect was one of the world's biggest scams, and some other people are now saying that OneCoin is maybe the biggest Ponzi, the biggest scam in history, or one of the biggest. But nothing can come close to the central banking system and the banking system as a whole, because you cannot even measure it in dollars, because basically dollars come from this system. So yeah, you cannot really compare it to anything else. It It is literally the biggest scam in human history. And if you think that Bitcoin is the best alternative to that system, please go down and leave a thumbs up below this video. Let's see if we can push this video to 3,000 likes. Yesterday's video got very close to 3,000. Let's see if this one can get 3,000. And here is another tweet that you guys enjoyed. When you go over to bitcoin.com and when you click buy Bitcoin, you're directed to a page to buy Bitcoin Cash. So Roger there, it's quite obvious that you are trying to scam people into buying Bcash when they are trying to buy Bitcoin. For noobs, this is very, very confusing, of course. And down here you have an example of this. When you click buy Bitcoin, you get here buy Bitcoin Cash with a credit card, and you are basically recommended to buy Bcash instead of Bitcoin. And everyone who is a beginner, who doesn't even understand what Bitcoin is, when they try to buy Bitcoin, it's very, very easy for them to get fooled by this website, which is ranking very, very high on Google for buy Bitcoin. So I really, really hope that Google might punish this website in the future, give them some penalty to rank lower, because they are deliberately deceiving people. And usually Google tries to give penalty to these kinds of websites, so let's hope that they do that. There is probably some way you can also report websites. If you know how to do that, please leave a comment down below. And if you do know how to report, you can also just go and report bitcoin.com to make sure that we show them that we don't agree with the marketing that they are using here. And next up, this is some on-chain analytics from Glassnode, and here we have a graph showing us the exchange balance, or basically how much Bitcoin are on exchanges. And this metric is currently reaching a new 1-year low. So basically people are not keeping Bitcoin on exchanges, and this is a good thing, because this means that less people have Bitcoin that are easily accessible to sell. Usually when people send Bitcoin to exchanges, it is usually because they have intent to sell. When they withdraw from exchanges, they basically have less intent to sell, and probably they intend to hodl. And here we have another good trend. We're seeing the Bitcoin addresses with more than one Bitcoin is reaching a new all-time high, and we are seeing more and more people accumulating and reaching this big goal of basically having one Bitcoin. Please leave your comments down below if this is your goal and if you've already reached it. If you hold more than one Bitcoin, you can go down and also leave a thumbs up. And let's take a look at yet another Glassnode chart. And by the way, if you do want to try Glassnode, it is completely free. I have a link in the pinned comment and in the description. You can just go and click the link to see this chart here. This is the hash rate, and we can see that ever since the halving, we did see a big plunge in the hash rate. However, we did only see a plunge back down to the levels we were approximately 2 months ago, so nothing extraordinary at all. Many skeptics, many bears told us that maybe the hash rate is going to completely collapse, but this is just not the case at all. And as you all also may know, Bitcoin has something that is called the difficulty adjustment. So when hash rate goes down, the difficulty will eventually adjust, so blocks continue to be added approximately every 10 minutes. And if the hash rate were to go up very, very rapidly, then the difficulty will adjust once again, because maybe in that case blocks will start getting added too quickly. So the difficulty adjustment will always automatically adjust so that blocks get added on average every 10 minutes. This is extremely powerful. This means that Bitcoin is this self-regulating system where there is no need for anyone to control anything, because Bitcoin is regulating itself. It's extremely, extremely interesting and unique. You don't find this anywhere else in the world. And next up, according to Goldman Sachs, India's economy will shrink 45% this quarter and suffer a brutal recession this year. And India is not alone in getting these dramatic and very bearish forecasts. We're seeing a downturn for the whole world economy. And we can also see here that Powell of the Federal Reserve says that the American GDP could shrink more than 30%, but he doesn't see another depression. However, if we scroll down here, we can see here that the Atlanta Fed estimated on Friday that the data so far in the second quarter suggests a drop in GDP of 42%. That would be far and away the worst the US has ever seen. Basically much worse than the Great Depression. But still, Jerome Powell tells us that, so in the long run, I would say that the US economy will recover. And he also says that we'll get back to the place we were in February. We'll get to an even better place than that. I'm highly confident in that. And it won't take that long to get there. So he's very, very bullish on the US economy, even though we're seeing the worst numbers since the Great Depression. And he doesn't even expect another depression, even though most of the metrics are pointing towards much worse numbers than back in the previous Great Depression. So I think it's probably more reasonable to expect the Great Depression 2.0. But what do you guys think? Please leave your comments down below. And if you haven't seen this video, then click right there right now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.